it's real important to my life. My dad was a convicted felon. And a lot of people don't like to tell that, but he was raised in the hills of Boone County. He was born in 1909, and he grew up with moonshine liquor. His family made it, and and he was never proud of that fact. He got shot when he was barely 18 years old. He wasn't armed. He got shot with a soft-nosed bullet. And if when you're in combat, we're supposed to have full metal jackets on all of our projectiles, the small arms especially. And so they done him wrong there, and he shot his brother at the same time. They weren't armed. It'd make a great movie and a story about my dad. But anyhow, my mother basically led my dad to Christ, and he became from a very bad guy to a very good guy. And he never told me till I was almost 14 years old that what happened, So he felt like he was called to be a minister, and I think he was. And he preached at little churches. Post-World War II, we went in almost recessions, because the boom time is over. He would go open up little churches in communities that, you see them today, communities that are in Boone County now closing down because of the coal's leaving. And he would start those little churches up, get them going good, and find some young, energetic young man that wanted to pastor, and he'd put him there, and he'd move on. We did that quite a bit. Tent revivals. Well, my family all sang except me. I never sang as far as like I'm doing now, or till I was almost 30 years old. And I don't know why, but both my sisters played piano and for my dad in revival meetings and church services and things. And one time he wanted me to take piano lessons. I wished him any time I had of it and learn music, but I chose not to do that because I knew I'd be hooked to him. My sisters both had to go. I didn't want to go to church all the time, and he did. He went to church a lot because he held a lot of tent revivals. Like I said, that was one part of his life, and then he pastored several churches and small churches. That's where I met my wife. First wife was in church at a place that he pastored. Anyhow, all that said, my dad died at 58 years old with pancreatic cancer, and he'd been operated on about 3 times for his back. He was in a mine accident, and he was a big man, 6'6", 320, very active. He could do anything, seemed like to me. And he learned a lot in prison, like plumbing and carpenter work and things. And he worked hard, but he was ill for many years because of the wound he got. But when he joined the church and when he accepted Christ, he went full out. And my older brother in California, his name's Hal Hunter. Hansel was his name. He never liked his name. He changed his name. But anyhow, he was in the Air Force, and he got in a band, and they had an Air Force contest, and I think I'm right on this. He won first place Air Force and got to be on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was a pretty big honor. And he wanted to go to Nashville and make it, and I'm sad that he didn't. He's still living. He's in Warm Springs, South Dakota, in a veterans home. He wanted to make it in country music and never did, but he really had a stage presence, and he was a good singer. And they knew music. They went to, they know shape note music. They went to church singing schools and things, which I just rebelled and wouldn't go. But anyhow, he wrote a song about my dad. It's called "My Daddy Did His Job for the Lord." And this is one of the most important songs in my life. It just does. He done a wonderful job with it. Everything in it's very true. And my dad did all these things, and I had a great mother who supported my dad in all he's done. My daddy made his living in a dungeon made of coal, but he had a full-time job that was saving souls. He was an old-time Christian with the Bible for his sword. Yes, my daddy did his job for the Lord. Sometimes in a church house, brush harbor, or a tent, My daddy preached the gospel everywhere he went. Well, I helped with the singing and my daddy read the word. Yes, my daddy did his job for the Lord. Well, that old tent would ring out with a song at setting sun. My sister played the piano whenever we had one. Then some old sainty grandma shout down that sawdust trail. My dad would tell them all how to save their soul from hell. Sometimes in a church house, Brush Harbor, or a tent, my daddy preached the gospel everywhere he went. Well, I helped with the singing and my daddy read the word. Yes, my daddy did his job for the Lord. The last time I saw my daddy, the snow was on the ground. We knew he didn't have long. Hey, our family gathered round. He said, God's going to give me a robe and a crown when I lay this shield board and this old sword down. Sometimes in a church house, Brush Harbor, or a tent, my daddy preached the gospel everywhere he went. Well, I helped with the singing. Oh, my daddy read the word. Yes, my daddy did his job for the Lord. Hey, my daddy did his job for the Lord. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.